I just got done rebuilding the clutch, doing the Coop mod 2 and 3 on both machines. And now I'm getting ready to take this apart. I'm going to pull the cylinder head off. Alright. Alright guys, got the air cleaner off. Air cleaner sitting there. I got this vent tube for the clutch. Now I need to get this one off. That one's kind of buried down in there. We'll work on that. Right there. And then you can see that this, see that mark right there on the pulley, on the sprocket will go on this mark right there. So there we are on top dead center. Now I'm going to take and clean this. I'm going to brake clean that off and take a Sharpie and mark that and that link. Okay, I got that marked. I don't know if you can see it or not, but all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull those covers off, the lifter covers or the rocker arm covers. I have all the head bolts out except for this one. It goes up and hits here, so I'll have to remember that and slide it in the head when I slide the head back in the machine. Because it's going to come out, it's going to go out that direction, I believe, and then we'll work on this chain. So I'll set the camera back over here. And let's see what we got here now. Almost made it into the tub of coolant. I'm trying. I'll get something in there eventually. There you go, boys. Here's a little shot of it. Okay. There's our head bolt. We'll have to remember to stick that in there as we're going back together. I'll get it taken apart, get the valves all pulled out. Like I said, I'm going to put new springs on it. And that's you can do this cam swap without pulling the cylinder head. I pulled it because I'm going to put new springs on and I'm going to do a little bit of port work. This retainer off that goes up in there. Goes right there. Took those screws out. And these two little bolts, they do have Loctite on them. We'll put Loctite back on those. You turn the cam, slide it out. So there's those two. Set that aside. And that's it. The new one. Well, let's get it out of the box. Stickers? Eh? Okay, yeah. Okay, razor blade or knife or something. These are really pretty straightforward. And like I say, you don't have to pull your cylinder head off to do this. I'm putting new springs on and head work. I've already said it 10 times now. Won't say it anymore. Alright, there we go. Alright guys, I'll bring you back in here. I don't know how that's showing up. Now I'm going to be pulling the valves out. The valve spring compressor, and I built this to take the valves out of R6 engines. And that's what this tube is for, to compress that, reach in there, and then I can get those keepers off there, if you can see that. I'm going to mark these valves, put these valves back in the same hole. This is the front of the engine. So this is going to be the left and right. Right, left, right, left. So your two intake valves, that's the left side, this is the right side. Your exhaust valves, left side and right side. That way I put them back in the same spot. We will clean those up and lap them in, but still it's best to put them, if you're not putting new valves in, it's best to put them back in the same spot where they came out. Now you'll get a little magnet and dip your keepers out. There's your valve spring keepers. Coming out. And that one's stuck in there a little deeper. There we go. There's both keepers. Set them up there. And we release. Get off. There's one valve spring retainer. Since I'm pulling the valves out, I'll go ahead and put new valve stem seals right down in there. I mean, they weren't leaking, everything was fine. But if you're going this far and taking it apart, you just well put new seals, valve stem seals. So see that there, right there, where it's touching. As long as it's clean all the way around, we'll lap them in. We'll touch these ports up a little bit. Okay, let me get the others out, and I'll get back with you. Hey guys, back out here in the shop tonight. A little bit cool out here tonight. Got my hat on. Just give you an update of where I'm at. Got the port work done that I'm going to do. There's the intake ports, the exhaust. So we go there. Should work really nice. But anyway, there's the exhaust port. There's the new valve springs, keepers. Valves are all cleaned up. There's the old stem seals, keepers. Finally got the seals and gaskets in. Here's the valve stem seals for those. I did get some new exhaust gaskets as well. The exhaust pipe has been off several times and I've been reusing those, but figured it was time. And then the new head gasket. And then this here, this is actually for the Kodiak. Anybody that has the 708 engine that I believe was in the 2016, 17, and 18, which the wife's Kodiak does. There's something that should be done to that. I'll get into that in another video. So keep an eye out for that video. I'll show you what's going on with the Kodiak. But that's going to be for a later date. Got a little engine oil sitting there in that cap on the stem. Put it on the face there. And this is the right side, which will be that side there. Spin it a little bit, work it in and out, work that grease around inside that valve guide. And pop right through there. All right. Their new spring, valve spring retainer. Okay. Valve spring compressor. And our little deal that allows us to get in there to the keepers. There they are, tight on that valve. Now we release. Okay. Okay, figured I'd bring you back in. Got some stuff done. Got all the valves put in there. I just slid the camshaft in there and this little retainer. Rocker arms are on. Everything's back together. I got this head bolt slid in there. If you remember, it hit the frame, so I had to come out with it. Cam's in there, of course. I set the valve lash here on the table. Thermostat housing's back on with the thermostat, so it's ready to go back on. I've got my head gasket set on. I got some copper coat spray on it. It's not necessary, but it makes me feel better. I've always done that on all of my engine builds. So it's I got this light here. It makes everything look yellow, don't it? That's weird. Let me try this light. There. Is that a better look? Need one more set of hands. Okay, there's the one head bolt that I put in there. Put the other head bolts in here. I'll get everything torqued down. Put my chain tensioner back in there. I got the cam sprocket on. Got those bolts torqued down. The decompression mechanism on, bolted down. Everything's in time. You know, we went off our mark here, or a mark up there. I'm gonna put those plugs back in. Start getting all the small stuff back on. Get the exhaust put back on, intake. Here's everything laid out. Your rocker arm covers, both those put back on. This cover here goes on the over the camshaft sprocket. So I will get all this set back on there and then bring you guys back in. Start topping the coolant, filling the coolant back up, and we'll fire it up here in a minute. Well, it'll be longer than a minute, but here in just a bit. Okay. Pretty much everything back on, exhaust. I've been filling it full of coolant. I'm going to move it over there now so I can open the door and let it run for a little bit. All right, guys. Just started it up here a couple minutes ago. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit. Bring the RPM up. And this is a roller cam, but I still want to run it for just a little bit. It's 122 degrees. I'll get it totally heated up here. Make sure the antifreeze is full. I don't want to just let it sit there and idle. I do want to keep it running. Still got the covers off in here, just checking for leaks. Make sure you got everything done. Put everything back on over here. I will have to make a new map for it, a fuel map. It says idling right there at 13.2, which is kind of lean. It used to idle pretty rich, so that tells you right there to do this mod. You really couldn't do it without having a programmer and being able to change it. I have no change at idle, which looks like I'm going to have to make a change in idle. This thing probably won't get as good a mileage. That'll be the downside to messing around doing this shit, is mileage might drop off a little bit. Oh well. As soon as it gets totally heated up, we'll take it out, ride it around, see how we like the clutching, see if it's got more low end. All right, let's close this door right quick. We'll see if it gets back some of that low end that we lost with the, well, I can tell it's lower right there, 4 or 5 miles an hour. You can feel a little bit of slip, and then it locks up. Now, ain't too bad. That seems pretty good. Whoa, watch out for the tree. Right there, just immediately. That's pretty good. the motor runs a little better. Pull the front end up. It kind of coughs right there. I'm about to do a new map to, you see that coughs right there a little bit? It spins. I can't get a hold of anything. Comes on pretty hard. It's got a cough right there at the beginning. That's low. Low is pretty low. Whoa! Seems to run pretty good. Seems to crank RPMs pretty easy. Whoa! Yeehaw! Hang on. Yeah, she's pretty peppy. Pretty peppy. I'm happy with that. I'm happy at the low gear. We'll go buzz down the road now. We'll check out the top end. See what the top speed is. Everybody always likes to know, well, how fast does it run? We'll go find out. How's the overdrive clutching working? Okay guys, I think that's enough fun. Thanks for watching the video, appreciate it, and we'll get out and do some riding soon. Thanks, over and out.